A lot of people have a strong desire to write, but find themselves frustrated because they lack time. They fear it's not possible unless they can clear huge swathes of time and really concentrate on cranking out a lot of words. It's true that writing takes concentration, but you could teach yourself to make use of small amounts of time and with persistence, write quite a lot in those little bits of time. Finding time, keeping motivated, reaching goals. That is the backbone of this course. You'll find out how to carve out more time to write. You will learn techniques to make the most of the time you do free up. You will also create manageable goals to keep you on track and motivated to make the most of your writing sessions and to be eager for more. You're a writer. How much do you make? If you have any doubt that we live in a culture that's all about money, make an announcement that you are an artist of some kind. Most people don't even try to disguise their sneering. How much do you make? Maybe you didn't decide to have your life assessed only in monetary terms. To most people, it doesn't matter. That's how they will evaluate your success or lack thereof. However much you make, it's not as much as they imagine. When people think of successful writers, they think of Nora Roberts or Anne Rice. Needless to say, a handful of people in a generation make that kind of splash. A good number of writers used to be able to make a living with smaller but consistent publications, what was called the mid-list, to distinguish them from the big blockbusters and from the big busts that fill remainder tables. Then came the digital age and the explosion of electronic publishing, including a huge contingency of self-publishers. If you check worldometers.info's count of books published this year, you'll see just how much of an explosion that is. As I record this in September of 2024, it's already well over 1 million. That's a lot of books. Why do so many people think that they have a book in them or that writing is easy? It's mostly because you have to learn to read and write to get along in our culture. Illiterate people have a big struggle to cope with a mostly written culture. The majority of people can easily write a sentence or two or a paragraph, an email. In contrast, how many can play a piano or draw a good likeness? Writing is a widespread skill. Everyone thinks they have a great story in them. How many times have you heard someone say, "You could write a book about me"? No, they're not always right about that. Yet a lot of them feel they should try. No one paints a wall and thinks, "Hey, I could be Michelangelo." But anyone who can write a sentence harbors the hope that they might just be the next Agatha Christie or Stephen King. The digital revolution and services like Amazon's Kindle Direct and CreateSpace, as well as Lulu, Lightning Source, and so many more, have made the publication process a simpler one, and one that sidesteps the big publishing houses in New York City, who were the traditional gatekeepers of publishing, winnowing down the would-be writers to the very few who ever saw print. The gatekeepers are still there, but hundreds of other gates have opened up, and nobody's watching them at all. So the floodgates are open to the tune of hundreds, thousands, and yes, now millions of writers, all publishing their books at once. Guess what? The number of readers is not expanding that fast. A lot of people dreaming of making a killing in self-publishing will discover it's just that, a dream. It's one that's pushed by writers who have made a lot of money with ebooks and want to convince you that anybody can replicate their success. They usually ignore the fact that they spent years honing their style and building up a back catalog and an audience, or that they hit the jackpot with a work that captured the zeitgeist, like Your Guide to Gangnam Style. Ask your parents about that. Or How to Publish an Ebook. And don't get me started on the flood of so-called artificial intelligence books. The plagiarism machine grounds out fake books that platforms like Amazon overlook as much as possible, until it's brought to their attention by people like Jane Friedman, See the link below. Those who don't find that same success often give up, disappointed and disillusioned. By quitting, they miss the most important success writing offers. Creating is our essence, and writing is a satisfying art. If you want to make a killing writing books, this probably isn't the course you need. People who know a lot more about marketing will gladly sell you books that promise big sales. You might well find success with what you write. Life is unpredictable in so many ways. I will only offer that you can definitely learn how to write more by following my suggestions, and that you will derive a great deal of pleasure from the process. People who have a strong desire to write often find themselves frustrated because they can't seem to find the time. They keep waiting for that weekend with nothing else to do so they can finally spend it all writing, except there's always 10 other things to get done. It's true that writing takes concentration, but you can learn to make the most of small amounts of time that you steal from your busy day. Who am I to claim expertise in this? Well, I wrote my first published novel while I was writing my doctoral dissertation on medieval saints in 3 different dead languages. I wrote my second novel and a collection of short stories while teaching my first full-time academic job and aggressively publishing academic nonfiction to get to my second academic job. I've written a novel in a week's time. I write conference presentation abstracts on agendas before meetings start. Check out my full bibliography in the link below and see if you don't think I've been quite effective. There's more than being effective, however. Socrates said, "The unexamined life isn't worth living." Writing is the simplest way to examine your life as you live it. It can be directly through a journal or diary, though it may be more obliquely told through a story. Even a nonfiction essay reveals a lot about where you are and what you're thinking. Like the clothes you choose to wear at any given time, the pieces you write help demonstrate how you want to portray yourself and how you embody your own philosophy. And like old clothes, the things you've written may continue to fit handsomely. Or they may be something you outgrow. That outfit you wore a decade ago may inspire you with a sense of nostalgia, or even embarrassment that you once looked that way. But it gives you a sense of who you were and how you have lived your life. It's very satisfying. Instead of the days of your life simply slipping away, you can capture some of them and the feelings you had, the epiphanies you experienced, and the excitement you lived through. The older you get, the more quicksilver these passing moments seem, and the more valuable capturing them in words or images becomes. Like old photos, the memories will be cherished by those who could not be there. Give the gift of writing to yourself and to others.